and let the bottle of chemistry open.
Science. Today, we're talking about Princess Mononoke in kind of the beginning of like hopefully a series where we're going to go through all of the Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah. If you don't know, Studio Ghibli is a Japanese animation studio, kind of like, this is comparing it to Western stuff, which I don't want to do, but and I'm pretty sure everybody knows what Studio Ghibli is, but it's kind of like the Pixar of Eastern
if it was
animation.
better than Pixar.
If it was better than Pixar in every way. Because it is.
I don't like every single movie of theirs you watch, you're just like, oh, they're flexing on literally everybody who ever tried to animate anything at any point in time.
Their movies are beautiful. Almost all of them I would consider perfect movies, the ones that I've seen.
Yes, so far, yes. I haven't seen many.
Yeah, the ones that I haven't seen Spirited Away. I haven't seen. I know that's one of the essentials. I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Porco Rosso. I haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle. I haven't seen his two most recent films, the one that's autobiographical and the 3D animated one. I think I've seen the rest, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, the other thing we should probably talk about is that we were going to do an episode on Akira today.
Yeah.
Then I was a dumbass and let the Hulu account that I was using run out of time. So we couldn't watch it.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll save it for a future episode.
Yeah. This movie fucking rules.
Oh, for sure. And right off the bat, I want to say there's a very clear message to this movie, and the message is, nature will kill humans, so we have to kill it first. It's very clear that this is the message we should get from this movie. So we have to destroy all the nature, kill all the boars, all the wolves, all the trees, rip it all down.
Murder the monkeys, murder them.
Yeah, it's a very clear message. It's hard to miss.
Yeah, I will say, like I said, I have not seen many Studio Ghibli films. I have seen Spirited Away. I have seen Kiki's Delivery Service, and I've seen this. And before this, I would have I always thought that Kiki's Delivery Service was the best that I had seen, but Spirited Away is my favorite. And now I think Princess Mononoke, I don't know, because Kiki's Delivery Service is perfect on another level. In my opinion.
Very good. It's very,
very good. It is perfectly put together in a way that is kind of insane. But this movie is awesome. I was not ready for a Studio Ghibli thriller, because that's what this is.
Oh, for sure.
Thriller, action thriller, and it's awesome. It is. The opening sequence is one of my favorite things. Just so good. And just the animation and the way the whole plot goes over. And this is, I think, another movie where we don't go beat for beat. One, because this is a very long movie.
Yeah.
And two, because the plot, it's another one of those movies where it's it's just a plot that you kind of go on the ride for. It's, you don't really want it spoiled, but it's also not huge amounts of spoilers.
Yeah, generally. And it moves very fast. This movie, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long, but it feels like you're watching it for a good 4 or 5 hours, not because you're bored, but because just so much happens.
Yeah, it definitely immerses you. And one other thing, and when I was watching it, I DM'd this. I was like, this is the best sounding movie I have ever heard.
It's the sound design and the music together is so good.
And it reminds me of a movie that is in principle not actually very similar, but also kind of really is. It's a movie called Wizards, which I don't think you've seen. I don't know if I've shown you Wizards.
I have. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Wizards is insane, and it's a movie I have a soft spot for. We have it on Blu-ray for some reason. My dad bought it, and we watched it, and I love it. It is made by the same person who made the rotoscoped Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay,
What's his
okay.
name? I can't remember
I
his
don't know
name.
his name, but I know I love that the
But
animated Lord of the Rings.
yes, he made Wizards, which is also a fantasy, but very different, like future sci-fi, fucked up post-apocalyptic Earth.
Mm.
Um, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, but there are certain elements that very much remind me of this in the way that they sound. Um, and it's also partially because of the era, I think. Um,
Yeah.
it's Wizards is very good, and it's a movie I actually think we should watch for this show at some point.
When was it made?
The Wizards 80s, I believe.
Okay, because this
So
movie's
it's
97.
yeah. Wait, let me actually see.
Research time. Go to Google.
Oh, Wizards was made in 1977. Shit.
Nice.
Oh wow, and this also has a stacked cast. Mark Hamill and David Preval. Holy shit! I gotta watch this movie again. Damn. All right, whatever. Wizards, we should talk about another day.
Okay.
Because there's something the way it portrays war. Because the main villain. I actually don't want to spoil it for you. It is very brutal in a way that is very interesting to watch.
I'll have to
And
go to
very
your
good.
house because I'm doubting that
Yes.
movie is anywhere on streaming.
Yes, which kind of sucks because I would like to do this in a way where it's like have everybody watch it before so we can come talk about this as like a podcast community or whatever.
Podcast community. That's yeah.
But we
So
should watch that.
yeah, it sounds interesting. This movie is it's different than most Studio Ghibli films, while also sorry, it might be Ghibli, it might be Ghibli, it might be something totally different. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
I might just lean more towards calling them Miyazaki films.
Yeah, okay. For those who don't know, there's a guy named Hayao Miyazaki, and he's the guy who founded the Ghibli Corporation and like makes all these movies and is just he is a master in how to tell stories. Like, this guy just understands the fundamentals of how to tell an amazing story
and how to tell a unique story.
Yeah,
every single time. And God, this movie just looks so good.
well,
all the way
Miyazaki's
through.
all
Yes,
Miyazaki
but
films
in a
look
way
incredible.
that because it strays so far away from the usual formula of like beautiful that I think you could call most Miyazaki films, this movie is like it's a thriller and it's about nature and how powerful it is and how we are poisoning it very specifically, and how it portrays that is just awesome to see from an animation studio that is unmatched and just in its skill and talent.
For sure.
It's very good.
You know what I found kind of interesting? So when I was excuse me. So when I was watching the movie, right? This movie would not have been made if Godzilla didn't exist. I'm going to back up for a second here because Godzilla is very clearly not even hidden, is like an allegory. No.
It is like
it's
the original movie, not the way we think about it. And I haven't seen the original movie. It's one that I very much want to watch. Maybe we can do it for this series. It's on HBO Max.
Yeah, we can do like something like that.
Yeah, that's a movie about World War II and
and more specifically, the nuclear bombs, or even like even Godzilla's backstory is a nuke was dropped and the radiation hit an iguana. The iguana grew 500 times its size. Anyway,
is that the original origin?
I believe so. I haven't seen the movie, but I am.
It's hard to talk about very explicitly about how the nuclear bomb completely changed Japan in a way that is kind of horrifying.
Yeah, and so the whole
America,
we are amazing. Okay. That the reason Godzilla is so popular is because it hit home in so many Japanese households, because it's like, this horrible attack happened to them. Most people had family members in Nagasaki and Hiroshima who were killed during this. And so when this movie came out, and it's very clearly, representing not just in how Godzilla is created, but in how he rampages and destroys entire cities, it's very clearly representing the nuclear bombs. And so that's why that franchise still exists today, because it's like really important to people.
Yeah.
And it's not, because if there was no nuclear bombs and it's just a movie about, oh, a big iguana stomps on buildings, there wouldn't be a new Godzilla movie coming out in 2 years or something like that.
Yes. And that's also why I think we should watch that, and also Shin Godzilla.
I want to
You
watch
know that
Shin
movie?
Godzilla so
Yeah.
bad, dude. Oh my
We
god,
should
that
watch
movie
both of
looks
those
crazy.
because the way we know about Godzilla in America and like the Legendary Pictures Hollywood version is not at all what Godzilla is really about, and kind of disconnects it completely from its origins. Also not totally true, because the Toho era of Godzilla, where he's just like beats the shit out of tons of different monsters, is also a
Godzilla
huge
versus
part
Kong,
of the character.
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Ghidorah. There's a ton of versus
All of
titles
them.
in there. But the reason I connect this movie to Godzilla is, one, it's Japanese origin, but two, it's a movie about, and in this one, the allegory to poisoning nature, which is part of what Godzilla is, except it's us. We did, the Americans, we poisoned nature by dropping the atomic bombs, and nature came back to attack the Japanese in the form of Godzilla. So whereas this one, there's not as much of a connection to, oh, it's the Americans who did this. I find that connection of poisoning the earth to the point where the earth fights back. I found, like, when I was watching the movie, I was getting not Godzilla vibes in how it was made, but I was like making that connection almost subconsciously, especially at the end. I won't get into what happens just in case you haven't seen the movie, but a thing happens at the end, and
we'll get into spoiler
Godzilla-esque
territories later.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree. There's part of the nature fighting back, and there's also a lot about how the way we have very violently torn apart the world has created an aura of like hate and poison that has touched the earth, is I think a very big part of the story, and it's very good. And there's so much more to it than that too.
Yeah. I mean, I also like the fact, so this movie is okay. I'm not like joking around here, but it does have this movie has a clear message that you get. But the thing that I find and the clear message is that humans are poisoning nature, and what we're doing with the world can end up in our own self-destruction, right? And this has been a theme that we've known for a while, with it's not some, new thing. Of course, this movie was made in the 90s, but even in the 90s, this was something that was commonly known. We are poisoning the earth we live in. But the thing that I really liked about this movie is the humans are also sympathetic. Like, they don't feel like caricatures of, these evil, like, oh, we're scheming and conniving and we want to destroy. Like, there are human representations that you can tell are good people. So it doesn't go, it's not necessarily moderation between it, but it's like, it makes what you could consider the antagonists of the story. I don't think there is an antagonist of the story.
I forget his name, but Billy Bob Thornton.
I watched the dub.
You watched? Yeah. Is there a way you can watch the dub on HBO Max?
Yeah, so
sub, you mean?
Oh yeah, I watched the sub. Yeah, sorry. But if you there's a play button, and you just go to the right, and there's a thing that says English, and you click on that, and it switches to Japanese.
Honestly, I really like the dubs of Studio Ghibli films.
They're better than most dubs, but I still prefer the subs, honestly. I mean, and that's just me.
I get to hear Keith David, Kai. It's Keith David.
Keith David is great. Who does Keith David play?
He plays the giant white boar.
Oh, Okoko, whatever his name is.
Yeah. He plays Keith David. And the wolf lady, so fucking good. She brings personality to that character. Not Princess Mononoke, like her mom.
Yeah. The big wolf.
Yeah.
Mono.
Partially
Moko? Something like that.
Partially, it's like any animation you see of that wolf's face is the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But combined with the voice actors like this very biting tone and this dry sense to the character that she brings. It's excellent. It's very, very good. And I get that for a lot of the cast.
Was Mono played by a woman in?
Yes.
Okay, she's played by a guy in the subtitle.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
it's a man's voice, but it's also like warped down to be really deep and earthy, like inhuman almost.
She sounds inhuman, but she sounds like it's a very good contrast to Keith David as the boar is one thing I will say, but she talks about how, like, partially because we see her get shot very early on in the film.
Yeah.
And she's like, I am at peace with my death. The boar god ran and drove to madness. It's very good. She's very good. I highly recommend you watch the dub, and I'll watch the sub at some point. It's those characters specifically that I love, and also the monkeys are very good.
The monkeys are fucking cracked me up every time.
Really?
Yeah.
They partially, I was like, monkey. Like,
yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I kept thinking Monke.
Yeah, and I was like seeing like the memes of like them swimming through the water, like, woo,
Yeah, but the voice is those characters were one of the like big things that reminded me of wizards. Yeah, they were very good. They have this like and I like them better when you can't explicitly see them as monkeys, because there's a scene close to the end of the movie where you see them and they're like gorillas.
Yeah,
but throughout most of it is like these shapes with red eyes, and it's awesome.
They're super cool. While we're at this, the character design for this movie is so fabulous. Okay, but here's the thing. Every Studio Ghibli, every Miyazaki movie, I'm going to stop calling it Ghibli or Ghibli because I'm going to mess that up. But every Miyazaki movie has fantastic character design. Like I don't think I've seen a Miyazaki film, and I've seen a lot of Miyazaki films, but I've never seen a film where I see the characters and I'm like, this is kind of drab. Like they always look so unique and incredible.
And it's also very simplistic.
Yeah.
Especially with the main character. What's his name?
Kirimiko, something like that. It starts with a K and it ends with an O, I think.
What I love about him is how his character design so excellently combines with his thematic origin in this story. That's not a good way of saying it, but the way he looks and the way he feels as a character what got me very excited for what the rest of this movie was going to be.
Okay. Also, I was super wrong about the name. His name is Ashitaka. I thought it was stupid. What was that? Oh no, you know what it is? It's because I've been watching The Boys, and it's Kimiko is the name of the girl. So that's why. Oh well, stupid me. I'm racist. This is the second time this has happened on this podcast.
It's like the idea of his character very much reminded me of like samurai movies. Just like thematically of a exiled prince doomed to die, using his last like the rest of his life to find what poisoned the animal that like ended up causing so much pain.
This is a samurai movie, just straight up.
Yeah,
it's a samurai movie.
It's straight up movie.
It's a fantastical samurai movie.
Yes, and that was one of the other things. This movie has a very similar like concept to Yojimbo, which is one of my favorite samurai movies.
I have not seen Yojimbo yet. I intend to.
It sucks that you haven't. Have you seen A Fistful of Dollars?
I have not.
Damn it. I was going to say congratulations, you've seen Yojimbo. But
well, most Westerns just straight up are. Nope.
Okay.
I got a lot of movies I got to watch, dude.
There are 3 movies that use pretty much the exact same concept, and you haven't seen any of them. But it's fine. And specifically Fistful of Dollars and Yojimbo, because Fistful of Dollars is directly a remake intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like how Magnificent Seven is of Seven Samurai.
Yes.
Okay.
Western people were like, "Yo, Akira Kurosawa, let's just keep making your shit."
Not even Western people, just straight up Italians.
Magnificent Seven isn't spaghetti western.
Is it
I don't
not?
think. No,
Oh,
I don't think it is. I could be wrong about that.
I have not. Yeah, I don't know. I've
I
I might be
I
wrong.
could be wrong about that. Let me Google that just to make
Okay.
sure.
This should just be a segment. The segment where we Google stuff. We should have like Google music playing. Oh, but then I have to make the Google music. That's too much work. Yeah, I'm good.
It doesn't say. Thanks.
Thanks, Google.
Um,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
no, I don't think so.
You don't think? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it isn't. It is closer to spaghetti westerns than a lot of American cowboy movies.
So it's
But I
not like
don't
John
think it is.
Wayne-y.
No, yeah, it's not.
Fistful though is a spaghetti western, right?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay,
the first.
okay.
It's the first spaghetti western.
Yeah, okay. I was like pretty sure like that's
Yeah, Sergio Leone.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just making sure I
Yes.
have my okay, yeah.
Yes, he made Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
And also, didn't he do Once Upon a Time?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was talking about those three because those are a trilogy.
Right, yeah, I
Same
know.
character. Man with no name. But
Blue Eyes.
Yojimbo, back to Yojimbo, which is one of my personal favorite samurai films, is a movie about a samurai or like a ronin. I'm not quite completely sure which it is supposed to be within the film, who goes to a town where two warring gangs are fighting for power, and he plays both sides.
Gangs of New York.
I haven't seen Gangs of New York. Is that what that is?
I've seen okay, I haven't actually seen it, but I kind of know a little about it, so I might be super wrong. Actually, don't pay
Maybe.
attention to me. I might be wrong. I'm probably
I
very
haven't seen
wrong.
Gangs of New York. I'll watch it at some point. That's Scorsese, right?
I think so.
Yeah, then I'll watch it. Love Scorsese. But that's what that movie's about. It's about a samurai playing two sides of like a warring gang.
Mhm.
And this is less like that and more like a movie which I think is much worse. Little Big Man, which is Dustin Hoffman. Like, he's sometimes a white dude, sometimes a Native American. Very bad.
What?
It's like, it is bizarre. It's crazy that movie got made. I'd have to go watch it again, but I remember watching it as a kid and looking back now, I'm like, what the fuck? But I absolutely see the influence of Yojimbo on Princess Mononoke, as this character is kind of walking the line between these two factions, which is
not even walking the line. He is the line.
Yes, that is a very good way of saying it. He is the line between Irontown and the like beings of nature. And he's constantly being called, "You're one of them," from both sides.
Yeah, which I thought was fantastic.
Yes. And he's constantly just tired of everyone's shit. It's great. There's a scene where he comes in, which I was kind of sad, but there's a part where, what's the name of the general lady?
Oh, hold on. I have a list of the character names pulled up. Her name is Lady Eboshi.
Lady Eboshi and Princess Mononoke have a fight, which is what looks so good.
It so good.
Amazing. I was like, oh my god! I was so happy that I got to see Studio Ghibli rad fucking fight scene.
It reminded me of Peter Pan. You know, dagger with rapier.
Yes.
Kind of those.
Yes, but less racist. Kind of. No, not really. I would like to compare this to Errol Flynn Robin Hood, but it's not really like Errol Flynn Robin Hood.
I have not seen. The only Robin Hood movie I've seen is the Disney animated one with the fox,
which is very good. It's my second favorite Robin Hood movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. First is Errol Flynn because that was my first ever favorite movie.
Which one is Errol Flynn? Is that the classic one?
Yeah, that's the actor who plays Robin Hood is Errol Flynn.
Okay, like mustache goatee, bro.
Yeah, like the dude in Men in Tights.
Yeah,
is doing an Errol Flynn impression.
Okay, yeah.
Wesley from
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride is doing an Errol Flynn impression in Men in Tights.
Yeah. Okay.
We've gotten off track. Back to this movie, but the main character whose name I've already forgotten. Jesus Christ.
Ashitaka.
Ashitaka interrupts this fight between Ibushi and Mononoke, and like just knocks them both the fuck out. Carries Princess Mononoke over his shoulder, takes a bullet like it's nothing, pushes like a. They're like, that'll take 10 men to push it, and uses his like cursed hand, just like whew, and walks out the front door with a bullet through his chest like a gangster. He's great.
It's amazing. Also, with the curse that he gets when his arm turns all like brown, black, whatever color it is, and he's like doing that. There's a bit where there's this deity who's like the nature god. It's like Pan almost, but it's the deer god, right? So the deer god walks by, and we only see his silhouette, and his arm freaking wigs out like it.
It's like
bubbles. And that I remember. Okay, so I watched this movie when I was pretty young. I was like 7 or 8, and short history lesson on Kai. I could only watch Winnie the Pooh until I was like 4 because I didn't like plot lines. Because anytime something sad happened, I got really sad. Like Superman leaving his parents, couldn't watch that. Obi-Wan dying in A New Hope, couldn't watch that. Like I couldn't watch any movie with a plot line because some character had to be sad at some point because
there has to be conflict.
Yeah, and I didn't like conflict. I wanted everything to be happy, hence Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, but point is, I was a very PG centered child, and then I watched this movie where
reverse
like people's
me,
heads pretty much reverse Gus, and then I watched this movie where heads get shot off with arrows, and then but I remember specifically seeing when this dude's arm freaked out. That image stuck with me for so long. Like it freaked me out.
You know what probably creeped me out the most in this movie? The nature god's face.
It's terrifying.
I hated it. Terrifying. I love it. But you're like, oh God, he's staring into my soul.
Exactly right. You're like, I don't like this.
It's very well. Like you're like, very good.
Character design, flawless.
Yes.
Miyazaki, I know you're not watching this because you also, are a big celebrity and speak Japanese, but good job. The character design. Okay. So one thing about this movie that I also found interesting is, so most Miyazaki movies, the protagonist is a young child, right? Mm-hmm. You have Ponyo, it's a young boy. You have Spirited Away, I haven't seen, but I've seen Little Girl. It's
a girl. It's a child.
My Neighbor Totoro, 2 little girls. They're the main characters. Basically, all of his children's films have little girls, or little girls or little boys. I think there's more little girls than little boys in his movies. Maybe I might be wrong about that.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So on and so forth.
Anyway, but they're young children because those movies were made for children that age, and he understands that children are going to want to see themselves in movies. And so, but this movie has young adults as the protagonists, and this movie's also rated PG-13 because people's heads fly off. Only PG-13? It's only PG-13, which I thought was crazy.
How? There's no way. Like limbs don't matter in this movie.
They're just gone.
They're just and like casually, like just whoop.
There goes my head. Yeah, and then they'll people look at their arms like, oh well, I guess my arms are gone.
Yeah, and it's the cleanest removals ever with every shot of an arrow. Like one time he shoots a dude who's holding a sword it hits the sword, and the velocity of the arrow pulls the hands that are holding the sword with him. It's insane. It's great.
But this movie's PG-13, and I think I find it really genius that Miyazaki, he targets the movie, he targets the age demographic the movie's targeted towards. He always makes sure that age is the age of the main protagonist, so that way it has the most lasting effects. Because I'm assuming that Ashitaka was 18 or 19.
Yeah,
probably
around there.
Yeah, and probably same with Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that or she's 300.
Yeah, it's either that or she's 2 billion years old.
Yeah, I think probably I'm not sure actually.
She might be. Well, she is she is human. That's brought up a lot through the movie because the whole point of her
Yes.
character is she's a human who's denying her human instincts.
Kind of. She's not a human though.
But
in fairness,
like she's called a human because because she's not like a Tarzan. She's not, raised by apes. She's not a Mowgli.
yeah. She is.
No, because Mowgli wasn't even the child. The thing is, like, what's the big wolf's name? Big Wolf is like her oh no, wait, no, Mowgli also has. I forgot that wolves raised Mowgli also.
Yeah,
I just,
dude, what are you talking about?
Like,
like they're both like literal babies raised by animals.
Yeah.
The difference is like she was raised as a wolf.
Yeah.
Unlike Mowgli, who I believe is like a human raised by animals.
Mm-hmm.
She was a human who got adopted, and she's like, "You're a wolf now. You're one of us. You are not a human."
Yeah.
And that's like what she was raised to be.
But yeah, so I'd assume they're probably like around the same age, right? Around that young adult area.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're both young adults.
Yeah. And this movie's very much targeted for young adults, saying like, look, if we keep going down this path, this is what's going to happen. We will cause our own destruction. We are the world, we are the future, Michael Jackson stuff.
Yeah. Let's not talk about
the
Michael
song.
Jackson's relationship with children.
I'm just referencing a song. I'm being like innocent about it. I'm not talking about anything else. You're the one who brought this up. It's not on me. It's your fault. Okay. Anyway, this movie's good. If you like Miyazaki stuff, even if you don't like Miyazaki stuff, who doesn't like Miyazaki stuff? Who are you?
Yeah.
Do you exist? Do you exist? I don't think.
Do you not like the best animation anyone has ever done? Do you not like that?
Do you not like beautiful storytelling?
Yeah. Do you not like being made to cry? Well, I don't know about that one. I also, I do kind of want to talk more about how Billy Bob Thornton is in the dub of this movie. That's fucking crazy to me.
You can talk about it. I can't be part of that conversation.
I know. But... Yeah, because you didn't watch the dub and you don't know who Billy Bob Thornton is, which sucks. Billy Bob Thornton. Because great actor. Bad Santa is fucking hilarious. And I'm surprised I haven't gotten you to watch that yet.
I have no idea what that movie is.
Bad Santa?
No.
I watch it every Christmas and talk about it every Christmas. It's like a super fucking raunchy movie about a mall Santa who's a bank robber who robs the malls that he... Dude, we gotta watch
De Niro
Bad Santa. No.
Is it because there's a movie with De Niro and it's called Bad Something?
No, this is actually good.
Oh. Okay.
Oh man, we gotta watch Bad Santa. But also more importantly, the movie Sling Blade, which is another movie we should watch together.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah, that's another one where at some point we should do this on the show.
Okay.
Because I'm going to start using this to take advantage of getting you to watch movies you haven't seen yet.
We have to rename it to the podcast where Gus makes Kai watch movies.
And everyone else on the show because try to keep them as streaming accessible as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because a lot of movies that we could cover, like where we can't do the niche ones, the ones that barely anybody knows about. Which
sucks, because I'd love to.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, yeah. Because there are a lot of smaller movies are more fun to talk about than the big blockbuster ones.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think we should lean more towards talking about movies that we actually think are good.
Yeah, well, we should do some of like the new releases.
Yes, we are. We're doing Black Widow tomorrow. Next week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, next
Black
week.
Widow.
Expect Black Widow. That's gonna be if you've seen it already. Good job. I haven't yet, but
yeah, that's pretty good. I just watched it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, this podcast has a lot of detours. Anyway, go ahead. Talk about Billy Bob Thornton.
This is the two of us. Yes, Billy Bob Thornton is in this, which I still think is fucking weird. He's the little priest guy, but Billy Bob Thornton is very good actor. If you haven't seen Bad Santa or if you haven't seen Sling Blade, he's in a ton of stuff. He's in that show Goliath about the lawyer. He's very good. I wish you had seen it because it was crazy to me when I first heard Billy Bob Thornton in a Miyazaki film. I was like, wait, what?
I mean, it wouldn't have been
Hold on a
crazy to
second.
me because I don't know who that dude is.
I
So,
know, but it's crazy to me.
yeah. I do recommend you watch the sub because I really like the voice actors of it, like especially of Ashitaka. Is that his name? Yeah, Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke do such a good job.
But I also think that very much so for the dub. We'll at some point we'll each watch the other because the dub's fucking fire, dude. I don't doubt the sub is also very good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get a stacked cast that has a lot of experience in voice acting, that's yeah. What else should we talk about with this? Is there anything specifically that stuck out to you more?
Anything? I just had a thought and it went away from my brain hole. Yeah. This the opening sequence with the I think we can just like it happens at the very beginning of the movie. There's like a boar and it's a demon and it attacks this village and that's where we meet our main protagonist because he fights the boar.
Yes.
And this brought up something that I think is like really cool about this movie and the fact that it's like the violence and or not just the violence, the fighting in it, the fights in this movie perfectly threads a needle that is grounded but also super fun to watch. So the boar is the first example of this, right? So it's this dude, our main protagonist, fighting a boar, riding an elk with like a bow and arrow and shooting its eyes out.
And it's also mostly not a boar. It's mostly a giant pile of worms with eyes.
Yeah. And you only occasionally see the boar.
Yes. I think part of what makes it so good is its balance of intensity and momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things where you're constantly in it. There's always stakes to the action that's happening, and it's always constantly moving with the best animation.
And this goes on to just have this movie has such good fight sequences. Like there's a bit near the end where Ashitaka is fighting these 4 dudes, and there's a bit that made me shout out because it's so cool. Dude on a horse draws back his bow, shoots an arrow at him. He freaking catches it right by his head, puts it on his bow, and shoots the guy off his horse.
Yes. It's so good. It looks so good, and it's not like watching that in a movie and you're like, oh, cool guy. There is a flow to how they do it in the animation where you're like, oh,
I know. It's so satisfying. Just and it hits him.
It's so good.
Audio listeners, screw you. I just did a bunch of hand signals.
the action is great. And it's part of why this movie is so awesome to me, is to watch it's so nice. It's like, make another action thriller, Studio Ghibli. Do it.
Well,
I don't think you ever will.
No, they won't. Well, mostly just because. No, wait, no, he did. Okay. Miyazaki's last film was supposed to be the autobiographical one, but then it ended up not being that, and he's still working at Studio Ghibli. So we might get another one. I kind of doubt it, though. Just because he is getting very old.
It's called Earwig and the Witch, right? That was the new one?
It's called Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Gus.
Oh.
Obviously. Gosh, don't you even know your movies?
I haven't seen it yet. The animation looks good, but also, I've heard not great things. I'm curious, though. We'll get to it at some point in this.
Yeah, I do want to watch that one. Yeah, other than that, without going into spoilers, that's what I got for this movie. Rating. Let's get a rating in real quick for anybody.
Right.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Perfect movie. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
There's a good.
Next week.
Okay, here's the thing. 10 out of 10, but not as good as Pan's Labyrinth.
Ooh.
To me, at least.
I don't want to compare the two.
It's hard, but the only reason I thought about that is the fact that Pan's Labyrinth, they're both excellent movies in their own right. I felt more while watching Pan's Labyrinth.
Distinction. I like Princess Mononoke more than Pan's Labyrinth. But I don't know about quality because that's like personal preference.
Yeah, right.
Princess Mononoke is right up my alley in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I was not ready to see a thriller movie, and to see a thriller movie done like that was one of my favorite things. It just made me so happy because
Right.
I love thrillers. There is something about the balance between like intensity and suspense that most thrillers ride that just makes me love them, which is kind of why I have a bit of a soft spot for David Fincher, even though I don't know, he made The Social Network.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
David Fincher made The Social
I know,
Network?
right?
David
Like
Fincher?
he made
What's in the
Fight Club,
box, David
and then
Fincher?
he made Well, I mean, yeah, he it's really weird to me that he made Fight Club and then he made The Social Network.
Didn't he make 7 in between those?
Yeah, no, I'm not one after the other.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like,
but he made those two movies because one of them is like a harsh criticism of toxic masculinity, and the other one is like fantasizing the dude bro aspect of Mark Zuckerberg's life.
yeah.
I mean, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, dude.
I just find it a shame that we can't cover Fight Club on this podcast. First rule.
That's such a bad joke. I hate you. I hate you so much, guy. I hate you. Fuck off. No.
That was fun. This is the type of fun we have here on Critically Loud. Yeah, so I think we can go into spoilers now.
Yes, let's go into spoilers.
We're probably about halfway through the episode.
There's one thing that I wish this movie did, because I thought it would, is that I wish it had ended a lot more like a tragedy.
I was conflicted on that because as it was ending, I thought the same thing, but then I started thinking otherwise. So, like, I kind of agree, and I'm also I'm very conflicted on this because I have different things going through my head.
Because here's what I'll say: the ending of the movie is good. It's not a disappointing ending in the way that sometimes movies can have. What I will say is the movie creates this tragic character, and that eventually becomes these tragic characters with him and Princess Mononoke because they've both been touched by this curse or whatever. Yeah. And there's a moment where you see them both touched by the curse, and it feels like they're doomed to die. And I wish they had leaned on that. Just because I feel like this movie works best as a tragedy.
I was thinking
because of like the high drama and the like Shakespearean elements that it makes me think of. It would have been a very good ending.
Yeah. Me. I mean, okay, I thought the same thing so there's a bit where Yuko, the elk, he goes up, and at first I thought there's a shot, Yuko's walking up to like the stone where they had given the deer god his head back, and there are two wolves by like on the rock, and for a split second I thought those wolves were the two main characters, like that they had somehow been transformed into nature. And then I thought, that's kind of weird, just because one of them wasn't real. Like one of them turning into a wolf would make sense. If Princess Mononoke turned into a wolf, that kind of makes sense. But I wasn't sure about Ashitaka. But then when I definitely didn't just scroll to my open page full of character names. But I don't know. I think it's a very different movie if you end it as a tragedy. I think both ways work. Again, I'm really conflicted about this because here's the thing.
Here's what I'll say, because the way you can end it as a tragedy can go a lot different ways. You can end it like Hamlet ends as a tragedy where everybody dies. Or you can end it the way Once Upon West Side Story ends as a tragedy.
Once Upon a West Side Story.
Once Upon a West Side Story.
Bang!
Bang! It's a terrible. This makes sense to nobody.
No.
I think what I mainly say when I wish this was a tragedy is that I think, what's his name again?
Ashitaka.
Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke should have died.
Yeah.
I don't know if the world should have ended by the Nightwalker with a missing head.
I don't think it should have. I think that's
I agree. I don't think that's, but I don't know. They could have made it work. If anyone could have made it work, it could have been them, and that could have been the best possible ending. But my main thing is I think that those two characters should have died, because I feel like once you set up the president of Ashitaka,
you're close.
Ashitaka being doomed to die by the end of the movie, I think they should have delivered on that.
I'm still conflicted because, like, the thing is, one, it is a Miyazaki movie. Miyazaki movies have happy endings. I'm not
Except
sure.
for one, right? I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's fucking hard to watch.
I don't know. Oh,
Grave of the Fireflies?
Is that a Miyazaki movie?
Yeah, I thought it was. Didn't you tell me that it was?
Yeah, but I might have been wrong. Hold on, let me look at, because if that is a Miyazaki movie, then that movie breaks everything. Grave of the
yes, it is.
It is. It is.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Most of them have happy endings, except for one movie, which will break you forever. God, don't make me think about that movie, please. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it for this.
We'll have to watch it. I don't know anything about it except for like just from looking at the cover art of it and people talking about how sad it is. I can guess how it ends.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if we do a podcast episode on that movie, I will cry for a chunk of it. Like, there's no escaping
that's
it.
Fine. You've already cried on one episode.
Just thinking about it, I'm already like tearing up, and I don't want to get into it. Anyway,
we don't need to go there.
But most Miyazaki movies are happy endings, and I think this one, honestly, I think it works either way, because the thing about like not necessarily a tragic ending, but a tragic ending, if they both died, right? It's like a feeling of sacrifice. These two people,
yes,
you get this, like, and also a fulfillment of the beginning of the movie with them getting cursed, or with Ashitaka getting cursed, and then later,
yes,
Princess Mononoke gets cursed. But I think it also works with the happy ending because it provides this hopeful sense for the future, where it's like you have this character who is you have these two characters who can now unite nature and humanity, and they can build that world together. So I think honestly, either way it works. Either way, it's a fantastic movie.
I agree. Why I would like a more tragic ending is, like you said before, we have a lot of Studio Ghibli movies with happy endings.
Mm-hmm. Also, because a lot of Studio Ghibli movies are directed towards 7 or 8 year olds. So.
I know. But like within that same thing, if we get one that has a more tragic, and I think bittersweet is a good way of saying it, ending.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know. I think it would have been a little bit more emotionally impactful. And I don't think the choice was made of any kind of cowardice or like fear of something happening.
This isn't a Disney.
It was an explicit choice.
Yeah.
So I'm far less frustrated with it than I am with choices that are made specifically because of capital.
Yeah, well, this is better than Raya and Namari not kissing. Raya and Namari should have kissed. I think this has to be a running thing in our podcast because they needed to kiss. It's stupid that they didn't.
And fuck Disney in general.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for some of the new, what's the new movie called that the trailer released a few weeks ago? Encanto?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the trailer that released for the Pixar movie like today.
There's a new that? No, I haven't.
Yeah, it looks very good. It looks very good. It looks fun. I haven't seen the Encanto trailer yet, but I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. The Encanto trailer, that movie, it looks very good. It looks like, one, Stephanie Beatriz is the lead voice, and I love Stephanie Beatriz. If you don't know who she is, she's Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's also
the lady who I was like, oh, it's the lady from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but in the Heights.
Yeah. She's she plays one of the cousins in the Heights. One of the hairdressers. I forget which one, or what her name is. Anyway, she's the main voice in that, and I love her. I think she's a very good actress. who is very funny if she needs to be anyway. But also like the animation it's Disney, but it's way more creative than most. Like it's very musically based. The animation
I'm
moves
curious.
with the music.
All right, I haven't seen this trailer yet, so I'm very curious. I want to watch it, but
yeah. Also, Lin-Manuel Miranda does the music because it's going to be a musical, and hell yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda is great.
Yeah, he knows how to write music.
He very much does.
I don't know if he knows how to write stories, but he knows how to write music.
He knows how to write stories. What you talking about?
I don't know. The ending, In the Heights, there's some, I think, there is not a lot of stakes to it. And that's not an original idea. I'll say that. But a large criticism of that movie is that it's not really going anywhere the whole time.
I mean, the whole thing is it's a glimpse into the lives of these people in the barrio.
A movie.
Well, it's based off a play, though. That's the thing.
Yes, but even if it was a musical, so it's still a musical.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I still think it works.
My bigger problems with it are the fact that it doesn't really know how it wants to define Vanessa and Usnavi's relationship, and it kind of gets confusing. Because like in the first half, it's like, oh, it's Usnavi who doesn't want to make the move, and Vanessa wants him to make the move. But in the second half, it's like, oh, Usnavi's wanting to make the move, but Vanessa doesn't want to make the move, and it's like, I get what you're going for, but it doesn't really work.
Well, it's mostly the Act 1, Act 2 separation, but I see what you mean.
Yeah,
because the movie doesn't have the Act 1, Act 2 separation.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't about
Benny's
that.
Great. We love Benny.
Benny's
I love the actor
amazing.
for Benny. Best part of the movie.
Yeah.
That's a complete detour. You got a mini episode on In the Heights. Good job.
Yeah, we did it.
God, we went on so many detours this episode.
I think just because
all over the place.
This movie is like, it's kind of heavy to talk about because like it has very dark themes.
I think more of it is because we talked very in depth about Pan's Labyrinth.
That's true.
Which has heavy themes. And I honestly, looking back, I think I went like as far as descriptive wise, I think I was a little too weird with it, but it's fine.
I don't think so.
Like,
I think we should have done a little more research on Spanish.
That too. Yes, that
occupation.
We should have done. And this movie, I think the bigger thing is that it's very simple plot in certain ways. And it's a movie that you just want to watch.
Yeah.
Than a movie you really just want to get into. In my opinion.
I'll say overall, like an overall simple plot, but the intricacies in the plot.
Yes.
Is kind of like Luca. Luca goes exactly the way you expect it to, but the inner scenes within that, like it's all about the journey, not the destination, Yes. This is very much a journey movie.
Yes.
That's soundtrack composed by Journey. Don't kill nature. It will murder everyone.
Now we part and go our separate ways. If she ever... that one just works. That song.
Oh yeah, it kind of does.
Won't desert you.
Imagine Ashitaka riding the white wolf, just like riding to her rescue. Man, that would actually be kind of great.
Fucking all right. Now I'm thinking about the guitar solo from Separate Ways.
It's a very good guitar solo.
Yeah. I can't do it with my voice, but it's very good.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is like, it's very good. And one of the things I did want to talk about, which is kind of interesting, is like, I really, really like what's her name? The character of Lady Eboshi.
Yeah, the prince. Yes.
She is a fantastic character study.
Yes. Partially because I do think she is not a good person. She is a bad person. But
there's a
kind of similar to Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. She has things that she cares about.
Yes. And she has done good.
Yes, but like I don't think that's the important part of like taking away from her, because she's very explicitly a person who wants to have power. And there's people that she cares about, and thinking about that through like the lens of having done good is kind of looking at it. It's like, she did this, but she also did this, which I think it's more about her being a fleshed out character with wants and ambitions that makes her interesting. Because I don't think there's a singular antagonist to this movie.
Oh, I don't think there's an antagonist.
But there are characters who are villains.
Yeah, there are villains, but they're not antagonists. Yeah, because the whole, like, one of the things I like is, like, the side of nature is also kind of flawed.
It's flawed, but it's never antagonistic.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's very much like
I do think what I will say is the movies do not need to be like, well, both sides have good points, because then you get into like liberalism and trying to like give ground.
Well, it doesn't make a good, as a movie, it doesn't make a good point if it's being wishy-washy about its themes.
Yes.
But the thing that this movie balances it with, because there are some points where it's kind of like, you know, both sides have good points to it. But the thing about this movie is it never loses its moral compass. It always understands that humans were the start of it. And even if there are, because they do show off good humans, like that one lady and who's in the lead lady who's in the Iron Town or whatever it is. She's a good person.
Also, this movie, spinning off of that.
Go ahead.
This movie has a bunch of badass warrior prostitutes, which is my favorite thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, they explicitly say throughout the whole movie that they came from the local brothels and they work iron and they ain't afraid to fuck somebody up with a giant gun.
They freaking shoot people. It's amazing.
Yes.
This movie has incredible, like, women in power. It's very good job at that.
It is characterization is, I think, the best way of describing it. Every person in this movie is a character. You don't really have a caricature. Everybody has a set of beliefs and wants and desires that they will stand behind. And Ibushi is the character who, at a certain point, makes the choice to leave behind a thing that she wants to do something else, which is to kill a god.
I think there is one character who's a little bit of a caricature, and I think that's back to my list of names. Gonza, who's like the main like the right hand man of
he's played by John DiMaggio in the dub, so that's
what
I knew him as.
It's freaking Bender.
Bender's it's great.
I think he's the only caricature, just because he's kind of like caricature of dumb strong brute.
He's a bit of your comic relief.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely he's the comic relief of this movie. This movie is very funny at points.
Yeah,
there's good comedy in it.
Well, I'll say the character comes from his one desire is he's the person who serves the queen and will stand by her. Yeah.
But all the characters are multi-dimensioned, especially like the two leading ladies, which are Princess Mononoke and Lady Eboshi, because they both represent the opposite sides of. They're both other than the actual animals themselves, Princess Mononoke is the representation of nature, and Lady, I literally said her name 2 seconds ago. Lady Eboshi is the representation of the side of humanity, and so having those, and that's why that fight between them is so cool. Yeah,
and less the side of humanity and and more like the side of ambition is, I would say, what she represents. She represents ambition. Billy Bob Thornton's character, the priest, represents
greed.
Or he calls himself a monk, but he's like a hunter. Represents greed. For the most part. And then the many people in Irontown represent, I don't know, like the desire to like survive.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the great things this movie does is it's like the common person is not the bad guy. They're just trying to live life, you know?
Yeah, they're just trying to survive.
Exactly, yeah. Like none of the individual humans you necessarily hate. Like even Lady Eboshi and the monk guy, Billy Bob Thornton's character, I never found myself hating any of them. Like there's a lot of movies where there's a villain
I was
and you're
kind
like,
of surprised when the monk came back as like a hunter.
Oh yeah.
I was afraid because the first time you see him, he's like, oh, he's just a dude who's like cool.
He's a plot device. Awesome.
Yeah. And then nope.
Nope, this dude straight up takes the head.
Yep. Well, because he wants to give it to the emperor because the emperor thinks it'll give him immortality, right?
Yeah. Also, I did have to restrain myself when they're giving the head back to the deer god, when Ashitaka and San are doing that. I really had to resist the joke of saying, "Oh, look, they're giving the deer god head."
Oh, that's a terrible joke.
I know it was
and
horrible, but my brain was like, "I have to do it," and now I've done it, and I don't feel any better, but I did it.
Yeah, this movie is very good at characterization.
Yeah.
And I am very hungry.
What?
Yeah. And
one more thing. This is the first Miyazaki film that I can think of that doesn't have like a zoom in on food that makes me super hungry, because almost all Miyazaki movies have like a zoom in on like ramen or something, and like every time I see it, and this is one of the reasons I don't like to watch Miyazaki movies too frequently, is because I'm always super hungry afterwards, because I'm like, oh man, I really want some ramen, and I get mad at myself.
Well, we'll get to that when we get further into the series.
Yeah. I think we can start wrapping up though.
Yeah.
This has been Critically Loud. We talked about Princess Mononoke. This is going to be the first in a series of maybe not all, but a good chunk of Miyazaki movies.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite Miyazaki movie, let us know in the comments, and we'll check it out. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get. How about this? Whatever the most comments we'll see is the next Miyazaki film we'll do.
Yeah. And if nobody comments, then we'll just choose, because that happens sometimes too.
It's fine.
Yeah. So follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're listening to this on audio, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you're using it. I think you can rate us on Apple Podcasts. I don't know how that works.
Leave a review.
Yeah, do that thing.
That's very helpful.
We have 2 5-star reviews so far, so you know we're legit. Because 2 people think we're good at this. And one of those is definitely not me. Anyway, this has been critically.
Wait, for real? Did you get?
Maybe, possibly. Anyway, this has been. We don't have
the
to
other one
that.
Isn't me. Just to be clear.
Yeah, it's sure, Gus. I see through you.
This look like an Apple phone to you, Kai?
It's still get Apple Pod. Oh no, you can't.
No, I can't.
Oh yeah. Anyway, this has been Critically Loud. Thanks for listening.
Next week we are going to be watching Black Widow. Before we do it, go watch the movie. It's available on Disney Plus. That's premium, right? You
have to pay $30
for it.
Yeah.
Which at this point is fucking ridiculous.
Just go see it in the theater, honestly.
Yeah, go see in theater. I spent $8 to go watch it today. I'm assuming most of you are going to end up going to watch Black Widow anyways, but go see it. And be prepared to let us know what you think about it. Same thing with this movie. Let us know what you thought about Princess Mononoke if you've seen it.
All right. This has been Critically Loud. Go use a paper straw.